Welcome back to another episode of Casey Campbell's Videocast. Casey Campbell here with Great Lakes Post. We are honored and pleased to be joined by the general manager of Front Row Motorsports, Mr. Jerry Freese. Jerry, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Casey.
It has been an interesting year for your team. Of course, Front Row Motorsports has had a very successful year, not just on the Cup side of things, but you guys are also going truck racing as well. But overall, how are you guys? Overall, you have to be pleased with how this year is going, especially with everything going on with the pandemic.
For sure, Casey. You know, it's been in a lot of ways the best year Front Row's ever had. I think we've had more top 10s, more top 20s than we've ever had on the Cup side. And then, as you mentioned, with our truck team, you know, this was our first year into it. Didn't really know what to expect. We leaned on our partnership with DGR Crosby really hard on that one, and to help us along. And Todd Todd Gilliland's done a really great job with that truck, made the playoffs, and unfortunately we couldn't get past the first round. We had a really solid run going at Talladega and had an engine problem, but you know, we're proud of the truck team's accomplishments and really hope to win a race before the year's out. And I know that's Todd's mission without a doubt. But yeah, on the Cup side, it's been really solid. You know, especially since we come back from the break that we had. You know, we kind of really hit the ground running, and that was almost surprising in some ways how much speed our cars had in relation to the competition. And we've had some ups and downs through the course of the season, which you're going to have over 36 races, and you know, last few weeks haven't really gone our way, but you know, we got 4 more left and some really good tracks for our guys, so hopefully we can finish on a high note.
Yeah, of course. You know, I'll start with the truck team and I'll get into the Cup stuff. With starting a truck team, I know you mentioned this. I think when you were on the Ford Zoom call that I think, of course, Todd needed a place to go, and of course, did that seem like a good opportunity to get into the Truck Series after losing a third Cup car last year?
Yeah, it did. You know, I think if Todd was still driving who he drove for last year, we wouldn't have gotten the Truck Series this year. So I think you know, we've known Todd since he was 10 years old, and David was driving for us, and they started doing quarter midget racing and just kind of worked their way up. So you know, even though David, I can't remember what year David stopped driving for us, around 2015, I think, you know, we were still really good friends and still paying close attention to Todd's career. And, you know, it seemed like he was really getting a bum rap last year with some of the performance concerns going around his program. He won that race at Martinsville, and you know, we and didn't really have a whole lot going on for 2020. And like you mentioned, you know, we got thrown a curveball when Matt Tift had his health issue last fall in around Martinsville weekend too. And so all of a sudden, you know, kind of really cleared up the picture when Matt wasn't going to be able to drive in 20 that, you know, we need to just focus on 2 Cup cars next year. But we had a lot of equipment, haulers, obviously. We didn't have trucks to race, but we had all the equipment to go race with, and some people as well. And so we started chatting. Bob Jenkins really wanted to help Todd out in some way and get another opportunity to prove that, you know, he belongs in the Truck Series and be considered for, you know, future opportunities moving up in the other series. And so we got with David and kind of worked on a plan to put a truck team together, and we kind of race as a partner with the 15 truck and Tanner Gray, and they've done a really good job too. So we've had to lean on them pretty heavy because they had the knowledge and the experience and resources that you know, we hadn't had in the Truck Series, and we just kind of brought our equipment and tried to collaboratively sell sponsorship around it and go racing. So it's been a lot of fun to be a part of, and you know, and we're talking about next year what we're going to do, and we'll iron that one out. But I think there will be some some program that Front Row's got with Todd for next year.
Yeah. Also, you're looking at with the two cup teams. I know that Michael McDowell and John Hunter Nemechek, of course. Of course, this is John's. John came in and helped out when Matt Tifft had his health scare. Of course, Michael McDowell's been with the team for, I think this is his third year with this team.
That's correct.
What have you seen out of those two teams that has really impressed you this year?
Yeah, first I'll start with the 34. They've had a lot of speed this year, a lot more speed than last year on a consistent basis, and it hasn't just been road courses or certain tracks. The mile-and-a-half program has been pretty strong, and I think a lot of places we've had Michael's best career finish at, and Front Row's best career finish at, and some really solid races like at Indy and Pocono and places that we normally kind of struggle at. So I give a lot of credit to Michael and also to Drew Blickensturfer. It's their second year of working together at our team, and then along with Derek Finley, who leads up all the technical side of things here at Front Row. He's really put some new processes in place to try to maximize everything we can get out of these race cars in and around the body and with some staff there in the shop. So I feel like we're bringing better product to the racetrack. There's continuity with Drew and Michael in a second year, and some notes that go back off of from past races, and a comfort level, understanding, when Michael's cadence in his voice, what it might mean, little things like that you don't know when it's a new relationship. So, but they've really done a good job. And I think when you look at the 38, some of it is that John Hunter comes in, got a lot of raw speed and no doubt a lot of driver talent, a lot of success in the truck series. Has won an Xfinity race, won the biggest late mile races in the country. And he's only 22 years old. So he kind of hit the ground and he was challenging Michael for, how much you're going to get out of these cars. And now we've had our rookie mistakes with John Hunter, that have been a bit of a bugaboo that's really hurt us in the point standings with kind of keeping it between the walls. But you got to expect that with a rookie and kind of learning where the edges are at these tracks. But overall, he's done a good job too. Yeah.
Looking at next year, I know that you're trying to lock down a lot of partners as well. I know I know Love's Travel Stops is a huge partner for you guys with the 34 team. And of course, there's another assortment of partners on the 38. Where are we at on that? And does it look like are we going to see Michael and John Hunter back at Front Row in 2021?
Yeah, we're working on all that, Casey, and like we talked about, the sponsorships are always the one that dictate sometimes what you end up doing, and we're trying to get in the best place business wise, but competition wise too. We don't want to go down a road business wise that just makes no sense competition wise, and same way vice versa. So it's certainly having as many partners in around the 38 program. It's been a little more challenging to try to get all those pieces to the puzzle together to kind of understand where we're at for next year. I think we're getting a clearer picture just about every day, as it seems to be top of mind with everybody. And, and the drivers kind of fall suit with that. So, right now, I don't see a lot of change around Front Row Motorsports, but that's still to be determined. There's still some X factors that need to be addressed, and we're hoping to have it buttoned up before the season's over and kind of know once we leave Phoenix that, what our lineup's looking like and who are the anchor partners and all that stuff. So not unusual for Front Row to be at this time of year and not really have things set up. And it doesn't mean that, we're out of love with anybody. It's just, you just got to make all the pieces of the puzzle fit.
Yeah. I know Michael, from what I've talked to both Michael and Michael mentioned when I talked to him a few weeks ago, it looks like he did say that he was going to return to the 34. And is that likely with that?
I think so. That one for us is a little bit easier, in that there is one significant partner around the program that takes most of the races, and now we've got we got a lot of real good interest on Michael for next year too. So, we're close to having, I'd say closer to having that program all ironed out. And Michael's done just a really, really good job. I mean, if you just look at sheer numbers, I mean, by far it's the best year out of the three he's had at Front Row. And so him and Drew are really clicking, and we'd really like to see that continue.
And of course, obviously with the truck program. Also, I should say before I get to the truck program, would you go back to maybe possibly adding a third Cup car again?
I don't see it for next year for sure. And I don't see it in 2022 either with the conversion to the next gen car. That'll be a big enough transition for two teams, let alone three. We do have 3 charters though to use in the Cup Series. We've kind of gone back and forth between running 3 cars and 2 cars, and I think for the very near foreseeable future, we'll just be 2 cars. Now, could we be 3 teams down the road? Owning that charter certainly helps that situation. And that if we're in a position where, Ford wanted to see Front Row really step up their program, or, we were just phenomenally lucky in sponsorship and had a really capable driver set up, we'd figure out a way to do it. But, having that charter is kind of the biggest factor in making that happen. And we do have it. So I don't want to say it won't happen, but as far as next year, we really aren't making any plans to do it next year. And 2022, I think, is kind of unlikely to.
Has any teams approached you about, leasing the third charter?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's been a topic of hot conversation for a few months now. And, we're working on plans with that too. I feel pretty certain what we're going to do with it. And, but we're not ready to don't have it all ironed out yet. But yeah, it's been kind of crazy. And you've heard the announcements with Trackhouse and with Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan that, in a year where we've kind of got a car that is a bit of a lame duck that we're racing next year. We all know it goes away at the end of next year. And so people are still coming in sport as new owners and spend the money to build a car that's on paper to be obsolete at the end of next year. So, I think in our mind, we thought the charter market, as far as maybe selling a charter or, or lease opportunities, would be at its peak when the new car came, and the cost of team ownership outside of transitioning to the new car, there should be some. And I don't say it's all about cost too, but it's more about the competition side, right? It's going to balance the competition level. You would think with a more common platform that we're all running, and so, the gossip or rumors we heard were a lot of new owners or some new owners coming in the sport in 2022, but my gosh, they're coming in 2021. So I think that's how much people believe in where NASCAR is going and believe it's a great opportunity to come in, and they need to get in now if they can get a charter rather than wait till 2022 and hope we can find a charter. So it's been interesting to watch that, but yeah, we've had a lot of interest, and usually it is focused around, hey, we're going to make a big effort in 2022, but we'll run next year and we'll buy cars from somebody and compete, but we just really need to get a charter now. So it's been very surprising from that perspective.
Yeah. Also, I want to ask you about as Todd Gilliland kind of makes his way through there, do you see a scenario where Front Row Motorsports kind of follows his career? Would you if he went to the Xfinity Series, would you guys supply a car for him? And is that an avenue that you guys are considering taking if that happens?
I think that's a possibility without a doubt. I mean, we got involved with Todd because we believe in him and we want to support him and we want to see him get the opportunity. Now, if he got the phone call to go to one of the top peer organizations, we'd be as thrilled for them as anything right now, because I don't know that we're in a place that, we can run that third team next year in the Cup Series, and run an Xfinity program would be pretty tough for us to do next year as well. Now, now the year after that, we're going to have a lot of race cars that are obsolete for the Cup Series, but I think you could make Xfinity legal without a whole lot of work. So that might be a better time, if Bob and David and everybody makes the decision, and Todd, that's what they want to do. But yeah, I think the big reason to get involved was to look at Todd as a long-term option for Front Row Motorsports as a driver. And, so it wasn't just a one and done deal. Future will dictate, what direction we go in there. I know Bob's had a lot of fun participating in the Truck Series this year, and I think a lot of everybody here at Front Row has too. There's a lot of the truck races are fantastic to watch and be at, and so it's a lot of fun. So, but it's got to make sense all the way around, but yeah, that potential is always there.
Yeah. All right, Jerry Freese, thank you so much. Good luck the rest of the way. Of course, good luck this weekend at Kansas, and congrats on all the successes that you've had this year, and good luck on the last 4 races.
Thank you very much, Casey. I enjoyed it.